it's Mar. I'm here to go over a new deck that I got. I'm really excited to share it with you. It is the Tarot of the Little Prince by Rachel Paul and Martina Rossi. And I've had this one on back order for a while now. I was eagerly awaiting its arrival. But before we get into the deck, I kind of wanted to go over the book. The book, The Little Prince, was written eons ago by Antoine de Saint-Exupery. I read this book when I was in elementary school to begin with, but it has certain adult elements that I think that you can't truly grasp until you've read it as an adult. When you're a child, and it's a cute little story, a fantastical story about this little boy who, goes traveling to these different planets. He has a rose that lives on his planet that's really bossy and kind of orders him around all the time, and he just gets sick of it one day and packs up and just goes. And so he visits all these other planets, and what he finds is adults aren't that great. We're just not that great. He brings a sense of childlike approach to complex situations to our narrator, who is a pilot who is stranded in the desert. That basically it's a life lesson kind of book that just teaches you to appreciate the things that you have, to celebrate the uniqueness of your situation, and basically just gives you a way to look at things from a different perspective. But really full of some, cute little anecdotes, and like I said, there's a deeper lesson to be learned. So if you have never read this book, I highly recommend it. It starts off right away, and we're not going to go every single page of the book. The artwork, this particular version of the book, and there are numerous ones, has all of the original artwork in it. And the narrator starts off with the fact that he too is suspicious of adults because he once drew a picture of a boa constrictor that had swallowed an elephant, and everyone thought it was a hat. So I'm sure that's probably going to be pivotal in our deck somehow, about how you look at things and you're not seeing what you're really looking at. But it's broken into cute little chapters. There's basically the little prince shows up in our narrator's situation, and of all things wants him to draw for him. Pictures of him on his planet, pictures of him tending to his rose. There's just, like I said, really cute little life lessons in there. It's kind of deep at the end. Not going to lie to you. You might shed a tear. But just a wonderful, wonderful book that will stick with you forever once you read it. It really will. Little Prince. So I mentioned that so that we can fully appreciate this. The Tarot of the Little Prince, again by Rachel Paul and Martina Rossi. This is put out by Lo Scarabeo. So this is an Over the Seas deck. Very excited to get into it and see how it holds up to one of my beloved childhood literary masterpiece idols. Boy, I gotta tell you, some of these shrink wraps, you would think that they're preserving food and not a deck of cards. Well, I appreciate the thoroughness of it. All right, so cardboard box, nothing fancy. It's waxy. Let's hope it's sturdy. Oh, and it's shrink wrapped inside. All right, I'm gonna give you a negative for too much plastic on this one, but I'm still withholding judgment. Looks like we've got a little white book. And there's no write-up about the deck or anything. I'm assuming this is a standard 78 card deck. Yay, more shrink wrap for me to get into. Yay. All right. Well, the cards are a little bit skinnier than typical tarot cards. In fact, they're smaller all the way around, but if you're small-handed or if you like that feeling of control over cards, you'll like the feel of this deck. Nice finish on the cards. They're going to shuffle really nicely together. They move easily. That's good. We have a title card for the group that put out the deck, which is Lo Scarabeo and Tarosophy. A special tarot invitation. Learn more about our decks. Okay, I will. So this is the backs of the cards. That's beautiful. This is the planet that the little prince comes from. And there's his rose, which he keeps under a protective glass cover to keep it safe from dirt and sunlight. He puts a little visor up, waters it every day. And these are the volcanoes. You can see the moon on one side and you can see the earth. We have our title card. Just same as the box. Awesome, awesome. All right, so starting off with the Fool, we have our little prince. One of the things that he asks our pilot to do when he first meets him is to draw him a sheep. And the pilot, who has, as I told you, once drawn before and had adults misjudge what he draws, vowed not to draw again. So he's very skeptical about doing this task for the little prince, but he does eventually draw him a sheep. And after the little prince correcting him on a few different things, the first one is too old, the second one is too sick, the pilot draws a box with holes in it and tells the little prince that it's sleeping, and this satisfies the little prince. He's happy because he's using his imagination. He can imagine that there's a little sheep inside the box and that the sheep is asleep. And we see here all of the birds. The birds are what lead our little adventurer onto his journey. He harnessed the birds and they swept him away from his planet. So he's represented as our Fool card. He's setting off on his journey. Naive to the ways of the world. The Magician. And we see him here with his sheep and the wand with the snake and the cup and the sword and the coin. All of these play into his journey. So he is also represented as the Magician. Here we have the High Priestess card. So it looks like these are also going to follow a Rider-Waite-Smith type of following for the cards, so they should be fairly easy to read. Here we have the High Priestess. There's our little prince with the birds harnessed, and here's our pilot's plane. You can kind of see it's indicating that it's spinning out of control as it's crashing into the desert. And here we have the sheep, and the sheep has a muzzle. He requested a muzzle so that it wouldn't eat the precious flowers. Here we have the Empress with all of the abundance and nurturing. The Fox. So the various people that the prince encounters on the different planets teach him lessons about life. This king lived on a planet, and his job was to rule over everybody. I think he was the only person, though. But as long as everybody was obeying him, he was fine. And he's our emperor. The Hierophant. This man's planet. He didn't even have time to appreciate his planet because he was too busy counting all the stars. He felt like if he counted the stars, he owned them all. The little prince and the pilot are watching him count the stars. Aw, this is the Lover's card. That's perfect for the little prince and her, and the rose is his flower. His demanding, sassy, bossy little flower. But look at him. He's looking at her so adoringly. She's the prettiest thing on his planet. And the Chariot. His makeshift escape. I like the symbolism that they've picked here. I think that it goes well with the book. Strength. All right, so the fox. The little prince meets the fox when he comes to Earth, and the fox wants to be tamed. He says that he looks just like all the other foxes, but if the little prince were to tame him, it would make him special. Because he would be the only fox that would be tamed, and he would be the only fox that would be tamed by the little prince. So it would make a unique bond between the two of them. So they spend some time getting to know each other, with the fox coming just a little bit closer each time and building up trust between the two of them. That's a really good representation of the Strength card. I really like that. Ah, the Hermit. These are lamplighters. The Wheel. All of the elephants that have been eaten by snakes. Everything in due time. Justice. The little prince sitting on the throne is the ruler of his own planet. The Hanged Man. And this is a good one for him as well, because Little Prince is the one that's shown hanging upside down, and the pilot is sitting in the seat of his broken down plane, but the Little Prince is the one that is teaching him how to look at things just slightly differently. So the Hanged Man, that's very appropriate. Death. Heartbreaking card. Heartbreaking card alert. Spoilers. The little prince finds himself trapped on Earth, and he doesn't know how to get back to his planet. And the snake, being the nature of snakes, has told him that he can help him escape, but he might not be able to take his body with him. We know that the snake bites the little prince, but it's basically up to our imagination whether he died or if he just made it back home again. All he wants to do is get back to his flower. Temperance. Have them at the well collecting water. The Devil. Okay, that's an interesting card, given that these are the characters that the little prince meets before he comes to Earth, and all of them are kind of being represented here as the anti-little prince. They are adults. That's not what he wants to be. That's not what he wants. He wants to try to escape becoming like them. Ooh, the Tower. So instead of a crashing building, we have the plane crashing into the desert. The Fox and the Snake staring up into the sky at the planet where the little prince might have gone back to. That's a good one. I like that. I like this deck. I think that it's a very nostalgic Slightly whimsical, but definitely there's a lot to be unpacked on each one of these cards. There's the artwork is just beautiful, like the sepia tones and the, you know, it looks like it's maybe watercolor, the original art, and it's just, it gives it a very earthy feel, I guess. Making shadow puppets on the moon, trying to entertain his rose. That's really cute. All right. I'll try to pick up the pace a little bit, sorry. Okay, so we've got the sun, where he loves to sit there in his chair, and he just keeps turning his chair so that he can watch the sunset in every direction. Judgment. Now, it's interesting that we're seeing the exact same figures. Let's go back to the Devil card really quick. In the Devil card, and we're seeing the same characters in the Judgment card. I think that speaks volumes right there. These people are looking for their redemption, their comeuppance. And him with his tamed fox just beaming down at them. Because he has risen above them. He knows that he has that inner wisdom now. That introspect that they did not have. Those are powerful cards right there. I really like both of those cards. All right, moving on, we've got the world. All of our characters represented again. All right, so now we're going to get into the minor arcana. Let's see how those are represented for us in this. So we've got the Ace of Cups. And as the thing that we love, the flowers on the Ace of Cups, our water suit. Beautiful butterflies. So I'm not going to go through every single card here. I do like to hold something back from the deck so that you guys, you know, if you're interested in the deck, you're surprised and you get to enjoy discovering some of the artwork and cards for yourself. So let's just quickly go through these, the minor cards. So we've got our cups. Aw, regret, loss. He's sad because he had made the decision to leave his planet. Now he's stuck and he doesn't know how to get back. Oh, wow. Let's jump ahead a little bit. 10 of Cups. Oh, Knight of Cups. Well, look at that. Queen. King. Ace of Pentacles is our earth sign. We have our sheep representing the pentacles. Looks like the sheep is probably going to be featured in the artwork for the pentacles. Digging up the boab trees so they don't take over the planet. Like that. Very good. Okay. Ace of Wands. We have our snake. This is our fire suit. I just love that snake. Look at him. Ooh, those eyes look like they're looking right at you. Let's see if he's going to be featured all the way through too. Wands. Eight of Wands. Page of Wands. Queen of Wands. Ace of Swords. We have the fox representing our sword suit, which is our air suit. Oh, I like how they've got that with his scarf blowing over his eyes. Oh, wow, that's a really powerful card. Look at that. The Three of Swords. With the petals falling, she looks despondent. Yeah. Wow, these are just really, really good. The Page of Swords. The Queen of Swords, that's a good one. I like that. And the King of Swords. All right, so that is the Tarot of the Little Prince. I really am looking forward to working with this deck. Let's take a look at this book. Sorry, I'm getting a glare from this light. Apologize. Okay, so the little white book is just that. It's a little white book. Oh, my goodness, it's in Italian. Oh, okay, it's also in English. Oh, panic. All right, so there's not a whole lot of information in here. They talk about the book being published in 1943. It's a classic tale for children ages 1 to 100. It's touched the hearts and minds of generations since its publication. Profound story of a pilot stranded in the middle of the desert who meets a tiny traveler of the stars, a spirit between worlds, between time and space. In the process of this magical and unlikely friendship, our narrator rediscovers his own inner child. Yep, so that's what I was saying, you know, the Little Prince basically gives the pilot, and we don't ever know the pilot's name, who's the narrator or the pilot, gives him kind of a chance to relive his childhood wonder. The Little Prince embodies all the wonders that we as strange grown-ups all too often forget. We can see the stars as merely little lights to be counted and assessed, or they can become for us a blueprint as we take pause to wonder if the stars are lit so each of us can find his own way someday. So there's a suggestion for a 3-card layout. Where are you now? Are you being a strange grown-up? Where would you like to travel to along your journey? What planet? What star? And how your inner self can best lead you along that path. What does your inner little prince say to you? And then as far as the cards go, just the briefest of sentences on each one. But that's all right. Like I said, it looks like it's at least attempting to follow a Rider-Waite things. So it should be a fairly easy, but wow, it's done in a bunch of different languages. That's crazy. I mean, it's a European deck, so I shouldn't be too surprised. There's every flag in the world on the bottom here. But should be an easy deck to work with. Should be an easy deck to interpret. Again, like I said, it is certainly easy to shuffle. I've got no problems with that at all. It overhands really well. I like the size of the cards, the feel of the cards. And I certainly love the artwork. I like that there's no borders, nothing wasted in the description. Everything is subtle. And if if you're one of those that chooses to read by art instead of, what the card is labeled or what the book suggests, then there's, like I said, there's a lot to unpack here. The artwork is really in depth and detailed and just really pretty. Really, really pretty. And if you haven't had the opportunity to read the book, trust me, your library carries it, Amazon carries it, Kindle carries it. This book is everywhere. It has been reprinted a bazillion times. This is I think the latest translation, because the original book is in French. And it was one of the first books that I ever attempted to read in French too. So just a little interesting tidbit there about me. But anyway, I highly suggest it. Good life lessons, warm-hearted story. There we have our little Prince tarot deck. I hope you enjoyed it. This was available through Llewellyn Publishing, and I did get this from Amazon. It is available on there as well, and it is available directly from the Llewellyn site as well. So that's all I've got for you guys tonight. I hope that you enjoyed that, and I will see you soon. Bye.